Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I wasn't really planning to do this video, but to be honest, for the past few days, things been kind of escalating and changing and made me think a little bit more about my family preparedness. I'm pretty sure you're aware that literally for the past few days, things gone from bad to worse in terms of escalations and things that are currently happening in Middle East and how it's pretty much affecting the rest of the world. And I'm pretty sure at the same time, you probably have seen a lot of articles floating about telling us how we should be prepared, telling us about the food shortages. And of course, at the same time, I'm pretty sure you've seen every Tom, Dick, and Harry on YouTube talking about the food shortages and fuel rationing and all sorts of random stuff. And I appreciate to some degree, it's nice to see certain people waking up. But we're talking about channels, they're talking about the gardening, suddenly talking about the war. We're talking about other channels, preparedness channel, food channel. Everybody's talking about this thing, that big thing about the preparedness, about the food shortages, about the fuel shortages. Although I'm pretty sure you agree that the Sam channel go a little bit OTT in terms of fearing or threatening people with the fuel rationing or the electricity rationing. There's so many of them. And suddenly it's just like all blown out of the proportion when they're talking about this word. See, when we talk about the fuel rationing, people in a lot of cases, the channel's talking about the electricity rationing, heating rationing and fuel rationing. But the whole point, they're calling it the energy lockdown. And it's shameful. I think it is shameful because the word itself, the lockdown, I think this has such a effect on us as from the previous experience. I don't think this word should be used in this instance, but for some reason, somebody came up with the idea and every other channel suddenly threatening people with the lockdowns. And I know it has a horrendous effect because, again, I had many of you messaging saying, oh my God, have you heard about this energy lockdown? It's not the lockdown as per se as what it is. The energy lockdown is the steps we already talked about as the contingency plan by government. That's that. But nonetheless, it's all out there. The main point, we can see that things are changing. And it's nice to see in all of this aside that the people are now waking up, okay? I'm sorry, my Hoover decided to just clean. So anyway, the escalations are now happening. And even if things haven't changed and escalations are stopped, the whole thing that the ripple effect of what's currently been happening in the global economy will continue being here and affecting us for many months to come. But as I know, things are actually changing. I'm not really going to be going into the details of what's currently happening. There's plenty of channels and news outlets to tell you what is happening, but unfortunately, it doesn't particularly look that great. So at the moment, we're already seeing changes, big changes, right? We're talking about the petrol shortages in some instances, and yes, we have some petrol and diesel, or petrol stations, sorry, that are short on petrol and diesel. Some of them, in fact, are actually totally shut down because there isn't any. Because apparently there are delays. Not apparently, but there are delays because of the situation. So it is inevitable. On the top of the people then sort of pre-panic buying the fuel, it's sort of normal that I think the smaller stations will run out of fuel and diesel. We already know the prices are up, right? Our fuel, again, it's up again. I think our petrol is 148.9. Our diesel is 178. In some more sort of bigger petrol stations, 180. So we can see it's kind of approaching the £2 mark easily, probably very soon. And of course, we're talking about the food prices. Food prices have gone up through the roof just now, right? We talked about, guys, and I covered this in the previous video where we talked about the prices of meat and prices of chicken being the first affected. Well, I've obviously do my little haul videos, or used to do. And I remember doing a video on a chicken that I bought. It was the Asda's extra special chicken, and I bought this reduced from £5.27, reduced to whatever it was. But now that chicken is up by another £1. So the price of the little small pack, it's now £6.27. We're looking at prices of peppers, and we know why this is increasing because we've been warned about that anyway. 3 peppers in Asda is now £2.20. You can buy 1 pepper in Tesco's for 90p. The cucumber is over £1. This is absolutely ridiculous. The point is, again, with what's currently happening, the trouble is they're predicting, right, the inflation for by June, for the food inflation by June at 8%. Okay, this is pretty much, let's round it up, say 10%, because we can see the price increases are clearly not in a small increments. They're going up rather sharply. So if we say 10% on a food increase, this is just on the top of the other price increases that are currently happening, on the top of the electricity, the diesel, and everything else. Okay, this is horrendous, and we're just talking about the June. See, the other part as well, we talked about obviously the diesel prices and the fuel prices altogether. See, if prices stay as they are currently, So in 12 months' time, government would have made over 8 billion in revenue from that alone. 8 billion. We are one of the most expensive countries in terms of the prices of fuel. And see what I'm going with this, okay? If it stays, and chances are it is likely to stay at that for quite a while. I said, even if the conflicts sort of pipes down a bit, things maybe get better, chances are the fuel prices will stay high for quite a long time. So 8 billion in revenue. And we have people now that are struggling with the food, with cost of living, with everything, okay? And yet, is anything going to be done about it? Where's the money going to be potentially going? The money that they're collecting off, nothing seems to be happening. See, on the top of that, of course, we talk about the interest rates, and they told us that the interest rate is going to be going up, and of course, and they're already up already, and we're talking about the mortgage interest rates, we're talking about the rent, all of that is kind of just building up on the top of people. So we're like every family, we're affected, all of us are affected by all of this, what's currently happening, and especially a little bit more unnerving when you have young dependents. And a lot of you also commented on the channel as well. That is, some advice we hear from people like, yes, it's not that such a big a deal. You can live in a cottage, you don't have to eat, you can starve yourself for weeks on end. Absolutely. If you're an adult, if you don't have the family dependent on you. But it's that much harder when you have a family, especially a young family. Because yes, of course, as a prepper, I do tell my child, I educate my daughter about the preparedness, about the important things. But it's only so much you can do to be able for them to still be kids and be prepared. I'm not going to tell her, sorry, we can't eat for a week because there's no food available. It's very important to understand that you got to still make this sort of adjustments for your preparedness. And see, with now knowing, and obviously we've been knowing this for a while, with the increased prices and the diesel and everything else, and it seemed to be just escalating just that a little bit faster in terms of the prices and the way how fast things are going. And God really knows what's going to be happening in the week or so. See, the trouble is now when we talk about the preparedness and we talked about the SHGF scenario, and they say, oh yeah, preppers preparing for the end of the world. To be fair, I think now we are, as a people, as an average person, pretty much in that SHGF scenario. Yeah, this shit is pretty much hitting the fan right now, bearing in mind how it's affecting everyday households and resilience. See, in the time scale we're looking at now, we're potentially looking at in a 2 weeks' time, if things continue, we have a little bit itches, a little bit of gaps in the shelves, but things are still semi-normal as they could be, bearing in mind the current scenario. Give it another 2 weeks on top, so 2 to 4 weeks, we'll start to see probably more shortages of fuel, diesel. Again, they've been kind of warning us on that, especially if more and more news outlets talking about the shortages and rationing and the YouTubers, then of course, yes, people will still be running around and topping up on petrol and diesel. And then of course thereafter we're going to start seeing, say, 4 to 6 weeks, this is again if things continue as they are, we're going to be seeing huge behavioral changes in people, right? We're not going to see potentially empty shelves because technically there isn't any shortages of food here, but the things are changing. The delivery time is going to be slower because the routes, the ships have to go around, and it's not just going to be affecting food. It's going to be affecting a lot of things. And then on the top of that, guys, obviously, we have farmers talking about how they're going to just, stop farming because of the cost and everything else. And I remember seeing an article, there was a farmer there, have all those potatoes, and, the chip company doesn't want to buy them anymore. What do I do? Well, bloody sell them. The people here, we need food. We're so reliant on the exports, yet we're able to produce the food. But I think things should change. And I know government talking about many things, but they just can't tell us what's the contingency plan for the food is, because I don't truly think they have it. So the point is, as I said to you guys, I'm looking at the preparedness a little bit more serious now. I'm upping it if you wish. If you follow the channel, I'm all about preparedness. Generally, we talk about the system and everything else. But I feel now it's coming to this stage where things are just that little bit more uneasy, okay? And I'm not here to fearmonger anybody. I leave this to the other channels. But the fact is, we need to talk about what's currently happening, the facts and the reality of how it's going to be affecting us as people. And this way, by trying to mitigate what's currently happening, by trying to prepare ourselves and our family now. And the point is, right, we're coming up to Easter, and the point is there will be vegetables now coming out at a very cheap price. And I know there were people there like, oh my God, leave some for people, do this, whatever, don't buy them, go buy this from the farm shop. Do you know what? Right now, okay, there is hell's breaking loose pretty much in the world, or majority part of the world. The vegetables are already there. Supermarkets are the ones taking hit, not the farmers, okay? Pallets and pallets of vegetables. They always have tons and tons left over that they're giving away to charities after. There's tons, pallets and pallets and pallets of food there for 4 to 15 pence, depending where you shop. So this is time to you now to encourage you, if you're not being preparing, of course, just do your little stockpiles, add on things as you go along. Don't panic buy because there's still stuff coming in. System just a little bit more slow. System a little bit more fragile. There are gaps in the shelves, absolutely, for the cheaper items, but just do this slowly. We still have a few weeks before potentially, if things are escalating, to see a massive, massive change. But now, with the vegetables, we have a week or so of the cheap vegetables. And this is a good timing to be able to basically just fill the boots. Fill your boots, do what you got to do. Whether you dehydrate them, whether you do whatever you want to do with them, but there's the possibilities. And I'm hopefully going to be doing this video, guys, for you in the next day or so, I hope. Because I find a slightly different way of mitigating the issue with the energy, electricity, and preserving of food. I thought I found a better way for myself and my family, and maybe hopefully for some of you, that's kind of maybe answer the question a little bit more. Because preparing and obviously stockpiling food is great, but it's how you store this as well, what you do with this. And knowing that potentially we're going to be having a crisis in terms of the energy and the prices, I think my way hopefully is going to be a good way. Hopefully it's going to be some great tips there for you. So if you're in for that kind of thing, don't forget to obviously subscribe so you don't miss the video. But anyhow, I just wanted to get this video out to you, basically to say to you guys, things are, you know, uneasy, and unfortunately, like many of you agree as well, they're not going to be any better anytime soon. If so, they're probably going to be getting just a little bit worse over the time. Nonetheless, the main point is not being scared, is being prepared, not panic buying, but just understand what your family does, what your family uses, and just don't be one of those people that rushes last minute. Because if there's last minute shortages or panic buying, you won't be getting anything, okay? And the point is, again, like everybody always tells us, that if we are, as a nation, better prepared, okay, then there will be less panicking, there'll be less issues, because generally people, if we're more resilient as a nation altogether, then we'll deal with those things that are happening just that little bit better. Anyway, guys, I do hope you have found this video helpful. Don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye.